Welcome everyone to episode 13 of Around the Controller. It is November 13th, a Friday, spooky post-Halloween day for episode 13.
Post
Coincidence?
console launch day.
Post console launch. It's just a good
The console
unlucky
wars
day.
are back on, baby.
Good unlucky day. I'm your host, David, and on this podcast, we talk about what we've been playing as well as some general gaming topics. This week's topic is the worst enemies in video games. These aren't bosses. These are just random enemies. Minions.
Your rank and file.
Your
goons.
rank and file goon, cannon fodder, whatever you want to call them. Before we get to any of that, though, joining me today is our magnanimous leader, Zach.
I unfortunately finished all of my Aperol spritz before the show started, so you'll have to drink your Dugaritas without me.
Sold. Also joining me is the king of fishing minigames, Chris.
I just got whiskey.
Damn.
And our only legal counsel.
Dugaritas for the win.
A gentleman's drink.
Shit, but did you steal that cup from like a novelty?
I
Like,
straight up just found this in my like cup cabinet.
that is powerful. Looks like you stole that from a Chili's.
I know, right?
Welcome to Chili's.
For all we know, that's where like my mom or whoever like left it here for me actually did take it from.
See, okay, we're going with that lore. Backstory of that class is Pridge's mom stole it from a Chili's.
I
I don't
believe
know
it.
why that's really funny to me.
It's just because it's somebody's mom.
It's 'cause it's Chili's
and
also.
Chili's.
Chili's.
It's all just funny.
She stole from Chili's to give to her children.
We should all do that. Chili's is the worst.
Gotta put Dugaritas on the table, man.
Oh god.
God bless.
Before we get into our topic of the show, Zach, what have you been playing this, I guess, past 3 weeks? I think it's been since our last episode.
Yeah. Mainly two games, very similar in I guess some concepts. 2D game, Hollow Knight. Holy shit. I knew that I was gonna love this game, and I was like, I got like 3 days left before the new consoles drop. I've got nothing else that's like really speaking to me. And I have it on Game Pass. Let's just start playing it. And holy moly, I am super into this game. The lore is fantastic. The gameplay is extremely fun. Will say the world map a little too big, and the fast travel
Yes.
points a little too far in between.
You are correct.
You are correct.
Getting
about that, especially late
getting
game.
back to like certain parts on the map, you're like, okay, now I have the thing. I can upgrade my weapon. And the fact that there's not a fast travel point that's like not 5 minutes away from the weapon upgrade guy, just abysmal. Fuck you for that. Team, I think it's Team Cherry or Cherry Bomb
Team Cherry.
Games. Team Cherry. Not a great choice. I'm sure that'll be fixed in the sequel. That being said, I can't wait to play the sequel. Also, got my PlayStation 5 yesterday. Started playing Demon Souls. It
Is a video game.
Here's the thing. I'm very split on it right now. Again, I'm only, I think, like less than 8 hours into the game. I've beaten a decent chunk of bosses, but I think I've still got more than half of the game to go through. It definitely is a game that is over 10 years old, that they put on a new coat of paint, and god damn, that coat of paint is just mind-blowingly gorgeous. Again, I cannot get over playing this game in 4K with the ray tracing, with just 60 frames per second. It is so beautiful and gorgeous. But man, oh man, there are some parts of it that I'm like, you guys should have changed this. like
I
I
can't
think
believe you've done this.
I even think that FromSoft would say, hey, there's a reason we stopped doing this in our games. We should change that. It does baffle me that you have actual like encumbrance in the game. You can't hold, like at a certain point you have to start storing your items, and they did make it to their credit that you can just instantly teleport them to your storage, which is great. Thank you. But if I pick up another healing thing and it's like, oh, you can't carry this, you either have to get rid of something or send this to your storage. I'm like, no, I want the healing thing. I don't need to have my upgrade ore on me right now because I'm not upgrading my weapon. Just put it in the storage bank. But like that, it baffles me that that was the system in this game.
It's weird that they made it so you can instantly teleport your stuff to storage and didn't just get rid of carrying capacity.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's
was
a weird
conscious
choice.
And like part of me is like I understand they did that to appease like Demon Souls fans, all 12 of them.
Yeah,
But
but say
like
who cares?
there's just some other things. It also is weird of like I think they have they said that they copied the exact like movement speeds of like all the different weapons and like movement and like attack animations and stuff like that, except for like the uh riposte attacks and stuff like that because they made that look super fancy. And when you do riposte buddy, you like for at least like my starting weapon, you like stab them in the gut and then lift them up on the ground and throw them to the floor, and it feels so good and it's amazing. And the sound design is actually incredible in this game. But man, oh man, some of it definitely feels like okay, this does feel like combat from a 2009 Souls game in some parts, and when the rest of it looks so good, you're like, oh, that was a weird jank like interaction for a second there. That does have a weird disconnect. My frustration right now, also, it blew my mind. You can't upgrade your armor in this game, which is like obviously a huge staple of the Souls games. You can only upgrade your weapons. It feels very weird not being able to increase my armor. And very quickly leveling up becomes like, oh shit, you got to get a lot of souls. Also, you don't have Estus flasks, so you don't have reliable healing, so you have to buy consumables, which you will run out of.
Yeah.
The consumables, very expensive in this game. Like I've had to farm just to have essentially health potions. Then like 2 of them is like 1 level up. And I'm like, that is way too much for like, 8 hours into the game. Get rich. Exactly. Instead of get good, it's get rich. It's a little annoying.
Get that paper, baby.
I've never invested into faith classes, but I have had to invest in getting like some healing from that, and I can only do 2 heals, and that kind of sucks. But it's fine. I'm still excited to play the rest of the game. I'm excited to figure out literally anything about the lore. I haven't cared that much to look too deep, but I know I've heard some people say that this is
The story of a girl.
Who Cried a River and Drowned the Whole World. There we go. No, I've heard people say that this is their favorite lore of all the Souls games, and so far, I think there's some cool stuff there. But I haven't met any of the cool like major players. Which is again in Hollow Knight, I've met some of the major players. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. But I'm farther into that game. Dan points out if you're forced to do something that isn't fun over and over again, the game has failed you on some level. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Light them up, man.
And this is a 11-year-old game at this point, and I just wish that they would have updated some of the game mechanics to go along with how beautiful this game looks and how excellent this game sounds. But Mark says RuneScape disagrees. That's hilarious.
RuneScape doesn't do anything I don't want to do. Makes me want to do everything.
Disagree, but I'm still very excited to keep playing it. I'm just kind of in the frustrating part now where I'm like, okay, which level do I want to go to? Do I want to like spend an hour grinding up my one weapon that I care about, or should I try to like? Also, there's so many mechanics they don't explain that they didn't use in any other games. Like there's a weird thing of like, it's called world tendency, and it hasn't impacted me at all yet. But basically, if you're in human form, which means like it's like you're having humanity in Souls games. If you die, the world tendency shifts towards dark, and if the world tendency goes dark, all the enemies have higher health and they're more strong.
So the more you die,
the harder the game gets. Yes. Also, when you're not in
that's fucked up.
Yeah. Also, when you're not in human form, you only have half of your total health bar. And you can restore your human form by either beating a boss or by using a consumable that I've only found like 5 of so far. I've played most of the game in soul form, just because you can get a ring pretty quickly that gives you 75% of your full health, and I've just worked with that. Enemies on the whole don't do as much damage as they feel like they do in other Souls games, where they literally take more than half of your health in one hit. but there are still enemies that obviously show up and just wreck house with you, and you're like, okay, got to work around this. What are we doing? But it's anyways. That's it. I'm excited to keep playing this game, but for now, I'm kind of like, I'm in that love-hate phase where I'm like, God, I'm so annoyed with this game, but I'm also like, I want to keep playing it because I want to get past it.
You want to get good.
I want to get good. Exactly.
Doesn't everyone? Chris, do you want to get good?
No, honestly, no. But as far as games as I've been playing, Destiny 2, the Beyond Light expansion, is a thing that is out now. The expansion itself, good. The overall changes Bungie made to the game for this expansion, very stupid, very bad. They made the decision to sunset a lot of gear that had like caused the game to become bloated, or like they like in their opinion there was too much shit. And that was a bad decision because now the game has a very, 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 very little like item like
variety.
Yeah, variety. Thank you.
Yeah.
Diversity is probably a better word. Because literally in the game right now, there's 3 heavy machine guns.
Huh.
This game has been out for what, 4 or 5 years?
It's been out a while, yeah.
Yeah, that's outrageous. But yeah, like you know, the new classes are cool. Destiny PvP I've always moderately enjoyed. It's not the most balanced thing in the world, but it's pretty fun. And yeah, I mean, it's cool. I Destiny's lore is actually surprisingly good, even though it has no right to be. Because like
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of cool stuff going on. But yeah, I mean, it's not phenomenal, but so far I've put probably like 4 or 5 hours into it. I'm excited for the raid. I'm excited to play an MMO again. Having dailies to do is fun. It's just it's just something like, oh, I've played video games today. I feel satisfied with like the amount of time I spent gaming. Other than that, Apex Legends' new season is out with the new hero Horizon, who is the DPS who makes stuff like to fuck with gravity and stuff like that.
Who's also a redheaded woman, right?
She's Mrs. Frizzle from Magic School Bus. Like to a fucking T.
Teachers' salaries just ain't the same anymore. Sometimes you gotta make that bread somewhere else.
She's Miss Frizzle avec war crimes.
Oh no.
Yeah, hey man, that's Apex. The new map and all the new changes. That game, Apex is the best battle royale. I always said that multiple times in the show before. And the new changes are fantastic. The new battle pass they added this season is one of the most poorly thought out things I've seen in a video game. Actually, not even just battle passes. It is mechanically make no fucking sense. So instead of like just earning battle pass XP, you have to like earn stars by completing challenges, but like the way they've weighted like what tasks give you a star is like it'll be like play for 97 minutes for a daily task to get 1 star, and it's like, you expect me to play your game for over an hour and a half like every fucking day?
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna fucking do that. And like the amount of stars you need to level up the battle pass, it's really bad. They've already walked it back somewhat, but like people are still upset because like in order to complete the battle pass, you have to just play an ungodly amount this season. Like that's just not gonna fucking happen. Like I got fucking things to do. What is with game companies not figuring out that like I have shit to fucking do?
Here's a Mozambique. Go nuts.
Yeah,
they want to get you addicted. They don't care about your time.
I already play this game not every day, but I play this game fucking very frequently. Like if I spend time to get to diamond in your fucking game, I clearly enjoy it. Don't hassle me.
Don't hassle me.
Mozambique here. I think that's really all I've been playing. I'm still playing some more Hades. I mean, I've already beat it. The game's very good. What do you want from me? Played some of the new League of Legends preseason stuff with all the new items. Oh dear, is that a fucking nightmare and a half?
Are they as broken or more broken than people warned?
If you like AD assassins in League of Legends, this is your season because they have decided that you are God and get to do whatever the fuck you want, and there is literally no penalty for anything you do. All of the problems in your kit, like, oh, I need to escape, like survivability or escapability. Don't worry, there's an item that'll do all of that for you, and also give you a fucking hand job and a fucking stack of cash. It's as League of Legends is a poorly balanced game. And like this is preseason. This is the time for them to figure stuff out. But God Almighty, is this poorly balanced?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I think I've been playing competitive fucking shit games that I don't even enjoy that much, but I'm addicted to.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
Bridge, what about you?
So, when was the last time we did this show?
It's been a
3 weeks
while.
ago.
It was like
Last
3
one?
weeks because we had Extra Life last week.
Right. So I probably still hadn't finished Near the last time. No, I think I had actually. I think I had finished Near the last time we talked. Never mind.
Mhm.
I don't
Um,
think so.
Oh well,
I
if I
think
hadn't
you've
then.
gotten some of the endings, but not.
Well, and that I did finish Near. Endings A through E, the important ones. It was
The important
amazing.
ones.
It was amazing. Really good game. Glad I finally did that.
Did you give up your save?
I did.
Good man. Good man.
I was willing to sacrifice for the cause. Also, it helped because if I hadn't, I was going to go sit around and try and grind every weapon upgrade and probably just lose my mind grinding stuff. So it's probably good. It's probably a good idea that I sacrificed for the greater good because it probably helped my sanity.
The greater good of us and the greater good of Pridge.
Exactly. So yeah, that was awesome. It definitely deserves to be on our greatest moments list. It definitely deserves to be on our most influential games of the generation list. I can now double solidify my opinions on those now that I've actually experienced it. Other than that,
do you agree with Japan that it is one of the 3 best video games of the last 30 years?
not personally, but that choice does not upset me in the slightest.
It's
Yeah, I
the
think
thing.
that's
Like
fair.
I see the point. I don't
Yeah,
agree.
it's not one of my top 3, but
I
if
don't
we redid
agree,
the
but I
top
don't hate it.
if we redid the top 10 list, it's definitely in my top 10,
Mm.
and I can understand why you would think it's one of the 3 best games.
What was the other one? It was Chrono Trigger, Near, and what was the third game they said was the best?
It's Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off!
Listen, I didn't bring it up this time.
Not even the best Zelda
Bridge,
game.
keep talking. Let's drown them out.
Yeah. I started playing through No More Heroes because they ported it to the Switch. It's a little dated, but I'm having stupid amounts of fun because it's honestly a really fun game. So I'm the rank 2 assassin right now, so I'll probably beat that tomorrow, then immediately buy the second one and replay that as well. Other than that, just random TFT, random ARAMs, and some random Fire Emblem Awakening when I don't want to leave my bed.
Nice.
For me, other than all the games we played during Extra Life, because there were a lot of new ones for me there. There's Monster Camp. There was Scribble.
Oh yeah, Monster Camp. That game is fucking awesome.
There was that FE hack that Jason made. That was absolutely hilarious. 10 out of 10 on that one. And then let's see. So I did start Ghost Runner during Extra Life, and I finished it after Extra Life. That's a fun game right there. It's basically like Doom and Katana Zero had a baby. That is what that game is. There's not really a lot there. You can't really shoot anything. You're basically a sword assassin running through the city. It's all cyberpunk. There's like wall running, cool grappling hooks. It is just a blast of a game for the most part. Some of the platforming's a little janky, which wouldn't be bad, except they really lean heavily on it at times, and it's like
I hate when games do that.
There's specifically the wall running. Like
they build a great combat system, and they're like, "What if we made people platform for like 5 minutes at a time?"
Yeah, well, like, and Doom Eternal had a little bit of that, but I disagreed with people. I didn't actually think there was too much platforming in Doom Eternal. This is that cranked up a bit, so they've got really fucking good combat. Some of the best combat ever that I have ever played.
Wow. That good, huh?
It's so smooth. If you die, you respawn instantaneously. It's less than a second. So like that Doom Eternal and Katana Zero thing where like you're trying stuff, learning the encounters is just bam, bam, bam. Like you never lose a beat.
Question, David, have you played Fury before?
I haven't.
Wait, Chris, You reacted. Do you like Fury?
I love Fury.
Okay, cool. We can talk about that later. It's not important now, but that's a good game.
But yeah,
Great
Ghost Runner
fucking
is
game.
fucking great. The story is a little, it's okay. It's pretty generic, and you kind of see where it's going the whole time.
It is.
Minus,
Would you say it has a story equivalent to a game called Ghost Runner?
yeah, basically. Like, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
Video
they're
game.
like some units that pop up at the end. One of which I will bring up later on this episode. That like don't super make sense to me, but it was still overall a very enjoyable game. It was at times very difficult. Like the first boss, I think, was actually the most difficult boss in the game.
Interesting.
Because they mix platforming and
The old-
combat, which is why.
The old Father Gascoigne conundrum.
Hey, yep. That boss kind of sucked. I died like 85 times to it.
Father Gascoigne is like the second easiest boss
He's
in the entire
not that
fucking
bad.
game.
He's not that bad.
I just know he's
making
from
a joke.
Bloodborne. That's all I know.
Okay.
In addition to Ghost Runner, I have played a bunch of Spider-Man Miles Morales on my PS5. That's right
Yeah.
there. That big white boy. It's huge. It takes up like
God,
half
that
of
thing
my
is
TV.
fucking gigantic.
I
That's
didn't
a-
realize
that's
that
a-
was a console.
That's
I
a
thought it was something
50-inch
else.
TV right next to it. And that's
Just a reminder,
how
they
big
want they
it is.
Sony wanted to make it much bigger.
It's fucking chunky. So Miles Morales, overall enjoying it. I definitely I'm not enjoying it as much as the first Spider-Man game. I think it's a little weaker, just based on it being shorter. They're introducing Miles, and they haven't really changed anything. Like if you've seen Spider-Verse, you know a lot about Miles already. They don't really swap that much up. If you played the first game, this is a spoiler for the first game. But Miles' dad dies, which is a little different. I think.
No, he does not.
No.
Yeah. That's really the only big difference. But that happened in the first game. That's not in this one, so it's kind of like eh. So story-wise, not doing a ton of new stuff. World-wise, not doing a ton of new stuff. Combat-wise, he has some really cool abilities that I'm enjoying. But there's all of the same amount of shit to do in a smaller game, so it's a lot of like just things. I think they could have cut down on. Obviously, they didn't want to because it was a launch title, so
Right.
they didn't want to
Fair.
cut it down. But I honestly think it would have been better if they cut down some of it, made the map smaller, and just like made it deeper and had a little bit better story.
Yeah.
But I think I'm most of the way done with the story. I think I'm like 70-80% through the story mode at this point.
Nice.
So it's not super long because I started playing it yesterday.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Let's see. And I also hopped in Astro's Playroom for about an hour.
I need to get to it.
Surprisingly good so far.
That's what I heard.
actually.
Surprisingly good for a literal pack-in. It's a pack-in platformer that
Some people are saying it's the best pack-in title of all time.
I have heard people say
I
that,
would
which
believe
is
that.
wild.
I'd believe it because like that.
Eat your heart out, Nintendo Land.
It's good.
Well,
Like
Also, Mario 64. Like, let's just forget.
You're the one who said before that
was Mario 64 pack-in?
Nintendo Land.
Yes.
Oh,
Nintendo Land is
okay. Well, if
a
Mario
better game if you have more
64,
people.
if Mario 64 is a pack-in, then this is the second best pack-in so far from what I've played. But
Hmm.
like, just the amount of cool stuff you can do with the DualSense, like all of the marketing stuff, I was kind of just like, okay, whatever. It's not gonna be that detailed. That's what people have been saying about Rumble for the past 20 years. That's what people have been
Super
saying about
HD
triggers.
Rumble.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of that stuff, and it's actually, if game devs implement it, it fucking rocks. Like, you can feel different textures on the ground based on the rumble, which is fucking crazy. Like I went into like a little windstorm of sand, and I felt like I could feel grains of sand like hitting the controller with how the rumble was like spaced out and stuff, that's crazy. So
That's nuts, yeah.
that sold me. It's just a matter of, do game devs use it or not. I'm sure Sony first party titles will.
That's probably about it.
Funnily enough, Miles Morales does not utilize it very much at all.
I was about to say that with Demon Souls. There's been very few times that I've noticed like a specific rumble for like a certain thing, but when it happens, I'm like, oh, that was really cool. My hands felt that. But like most of the times, I'm like, controller go. Brrr,
Yeah, like
you know?
for Miles, there's a little bit in the swinging that you can feel. That's definitely an improvement on the first one, but that's it. It's just the swinging part. And
Yeah.
I think I might have said this before the show, but in Miles, I'm actually finding myself using fast travel now, which I didn't in the original Spider-Man game. Part of it is like, okay, I played Spider-Man. I'm a little burnt out on swinging around, but also the load times are fucking insane.
Oh my god, dude.
So
the loading in Demon Souls coming from Bloodborne, which literally had infamously terrible
Yeah.
load times at
Load
launch.
screens so bad they had to patch them out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally took like a whole minute just to load a travel from like the hub world to wherever you wanted to be, and then like a minute to get back to it. It was a nightmare. This literally, it's 3 seconds every time. And
it's
like,
not even that to fast travel in Spider-Man, I don't think. Like it's go to the map, hold X, and then you're coming out of the subway. That's
yeah.
It's that fast, which makes me actually use the fast travel. So I'm glad it's in the game now. Whereas the first Spider-Man, they could have left it out, and I wouldn't given a fuck.
Yeah,
as it took just as long to load as it did to just fucking swing over.
Yeah, good point.
I think that's all I've played.
Right.
So, with that out of the way, our worst minions, enemies, rank and file, cannon fodder. Let's start with Chris today. Pop it up.
Okay. Where's
Oh,
my
Start in the middle of the order.
What fish enemies is he gonna talk about?
Man, the fishing raid bosses in Final Fantasy 14 are bullshit.
Oh,
I hate the fucking RNG system you have to use to actually get good reels. All right.
Real talk before we go into it, just for people watching. So we didn't really put much of a classifier on this. This can be because
Which
the
I
enemies
use to my benefit,
and I think it's more fun that way anyway. So this can be because the enemies are just annoying to fight because there's a fuckload of them all the time, because the enemies designed poorly because they literally just keep you stunned for 30 minutes of the game. Whatever we want it to be is what it is.
So all the ones on my list, if you've played the game, I say instantly as soon as I say the name, you're like, oh fuck, right off. So we'll start off with Fallout New Vegas and Cazadors.
Yeah. All right,
See,
I'll cross that one off my list.
I didn't hate those that much, but go on.
You're an insane person. So Cazadors as an enemy aren't the worst thing ever, but the way they're used in Fallout New Vegas is a fucking existential nightmare. If there's like a huge pack of them right out of like the main hub tutorial town, and Cazadors have incredibly high defense to everything except for I think it's like good like blunt weapons, which you don't have any of because fuck off. And they can poison you, and at that point you have no fucking cure for any kind of poison, and your healing supplies in general suck. So you just walk out of the fucking hub town and get shit on by a bunch of fucking flying little bastards that are hard to hit and hard to kill, and then you die, and then you're upset, and then you fucking go to the stupid prison and be annoyed that you have to go that way.
I'm not gonna lie, the design in Fallout New Vegas at the beginning is pretty bad. Because your options are the prison, Cazadors, or what are those things called? Death claws.
So basically there are two non-options in the way the game wants you to go.
Yeah, you definitely can't go mess with Death Claws that early.
Yeah. Which like I get it because it's a fucking video game and they need to lay it out for you. And if you just walk straight to Vegas, it wouldn't be much of a fucking video game. But
the way they did it wasn't clean. It wasn't like you need to go over to the prison. It was like, yeah, you could wander.
People have said before the game has an active war in it. Why isn't there like you can't pass this line because of the fucking NCR or something?
Yep,
that would have made so much more sense.
Yeah,
that would have been a good point.
Yep.
But yeah, Cazadors are some ugly giant bug motherfuckers, and they come at you in large groups.
Boys.
Yeah, come at you in large groups. They come at you quickly, and poison really sucks before you have adequate stim pack supplies.
Yeah.
It's like the ending of My Girl.
What?
Nobody got that joke.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
It's the blonde
This-
kid with glasses
Nope.
who gets stung to
Moving
death by
on.
bees.
Pridge.
Oh wait, someone actually. I was gonna ask us what happened. I can't believe that's the answer. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going with one of the most iconic enemies, but I'm choosing the ones from a specific game because they're the ones that tilt me. I'm going with the namesake of the Metroid franchise, Metroids,
I
Oh,
almost
okay.
put them on mine.
Okay.
but specifically Metroid Prime Metroids.
Yeah,
So
they
Metroids
suck
are-
in 3D.
So Metroids are always, annoying because the general thing is, if you know the lore of the game, is that you usually have to freeze them first before blowing them up because they're sort of amoebas sort of outer shell is resistant to laser. So the only way to get rid of them is to freeze them and then blow them up somehow. And they're annoying in 2D Metroid games, but there's only so many directions, you can shoot in a 2D game. It's like this or like this. But
Mhm.
Metroid Prime being the first 3D one, they can float much more annoyingly. And like when you find them late in the game, it's just like there's just 4 of these things. They're flying very aimlessly. Their AI is very weird. It's not something you can
Yeah.
easily track and follow. So you're just sitting there spinning around, firing an ice beam over your head like an absolute spaz, and not like the world's greatest bounty hunter. If they jump on you, you have to do the normal thing. You have to go into morph ball and drop a bomb to get them off. But they're tiny. They float erratically. They're hard to hit. And once again, it's more of a annoyance in numbers when you start fighting them in groups of like 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, I when you said Metroid Prime Metroids, I instantly flashed to the exact room that I'm sure you're thinking of in Metroid
Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that room so much. What a shitty room to construct. Fuck you, Retro Studios.
Where's Metroid Prime 4?
Also that.
Fuck you. Give us another game.
Pissed me off all over again.
Piss me off, Daddy, please. All right. I alluded to this earlier. Mine is a very recent one, which is why it's very fresh in my brain. It is an enemy from Ghost Runner. It doesn't have a name. I have seen it referred to online as crawly, explodey things, kamikaze
enemy.
zombies,
Mm.
wall crawling, exploding things.
Yeah.
No official name, but a bunch of people make up their own. I'm gonna call them kamikaze zombies. Basically, I talked about earlier, it's a melee game, right? You have a sword, you have limited to no real ranged weapons the majority of the game, and even when you do, they're very limited use. They introduce in the last few levels these like monstrosities of experimented people that crawl along the ground, have a bomb on their back. Sorry, not just the ground. They crawl along the ground, the wall, the ceiling. They can jump pretty
Surfaces.
far, surfaces. Yeah. They chase you and then they explode if they get close to you. So you have a sword. You can't get close enough to kill them without them blowing up, and if they blow up, you get one shot. You just die. There's no partial health loss here. That shit was annoying as fuck. The only way to get around them is to platform around them, and as I mentioned earlier, the platforming in that game, while a lot of the time good, is very inconsistent.
Mm.
I'll jump and dash at a wall, which is what will let you wall run, and it'll just like hit the wall and I'll fall. So I'm trying to run from these things, platform, and not get close to them, or I die. And it's just a shit show.
I literally wrote on mine, just any enemy that chases you and then blows up.
Any
Is-
suicide enemy?
Anytime that
with
appears
them.
in a game,
See,
it's so
I don't have a
annoying.
problem with it if they
Kamikaze Shanks from Destiny get a special shout out for being bastards.
Mm.
if there's a way to deal with them, I'm fine with it.
The things in Hollow Knight that do it, they like make little bird sounds and just go.
Oh yeah, those
Oh,
guys are annoying.
yeah.
Even
Literally in Demon Souls right now, I'm on a level that has shit like that. I'm like, God, fucking damn it, stop, please.
even Halo grunts that give up on life and pull out the 2 plasma grenades and sprint at you while screaming. Oh, annoying.
Dude,
I have
those are
lost
so
many
funny,
unfortunate.
though.
Anyway, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's funny, and you can obviously deal with them because Halo, and you have lots of guns and powers.
Yeah.
But it's still annoying when like I turn around too late and there's just this little piece of shit. It
Yeah,
just runs and
I-
blows you up.
I will give the designers credit. The things are both loud enough and placed in positions where they cannot sneak up on you. You always know they're coming. They make a horrible noise when they start chasing you.
Even Remarkable Me just said the Suicide Skellies and Sea of Thieves, and Hayo just referenced some Suicide Enemy in Gears of War. They're annoying in pretty much all forms.
And people keep doing them.
Because it's a classic.
It's
a classic.
And again, if there's a way to deal with it, I don't care. Fine, go for it. This one, there's no real consistent way to do it. So fuck off.
In a same vein, as far as an enemy concept that gets used in a lot of things, yet every time you're like, God, I fucking hate these. Pretty much anytime there's a dog enemy in video games, fucking they're doubly it's a twofold cut. Because one, I don't want to kill a dog. I love dogs.
Yeah.
Even zombie evil demon dog,
Yeah,
I still feel bad about.
They just need a little pet. But then on top of that, if you've ever played a Demon Souls, Dark Souls, whatever, any dog enemy, fuck that. If you played any Resident Evil game, any dog enemy, fuck that. Like they're always so fast. They come at you so quick. Either you have to block and they break your guard, or you have to try and dodge them. Good luck. Your best bet is to just kill them before they can get to you. But even then, it's just dogs in video games, man. Even literally replaying Breath of the Wild, the wolves in that game, they're not annoying, and it's like they never like actually cause me a problem. They're really underpowered in that game, but like they're annoying because you'll just walk by them and it'll be like three wolves will go, "Arr!" And then it's like,
oh yeah, that's right, they're all wolves in that game.
And the battle music will start playing, and I'm usually just like, okay, I'm gonna ignore them. I'm just gonna keep going, but they keep following me because they're wolves. And so just for like 10 minutes, I have like the battle music playing in the background while wolves are like 30 feet behind me. And I'm like, okay, thank you, wolves.
Yeah, actually, even in Witcher 3, the wolves will hound you for annoyingly long periods of time before their aggro finally clicks off.
I don't know if that was an intentional pun, but very good.
Saying I don't know what it was.
Oh, nice.
Mark says dogs in MMOs aren't bad. Yeah, I mean, I feel like MMOs get a different, especially if they're like turn-based, I feel like they just get like enemies just kind of, I don't want to say enemies hit different because that's also a pun, but they do.
All right, Chris.
Next on my list, let's go with a little bit of yeah, fuck it. Bloodborne, Winter Lanterns. So, if those of you that play Bloodborne, Winter Lanterns are the big things that are shaped roughly like the doll, but have gigantic like brain heads. And just being within line of vision of them causes you to gain Frenzy meter incredibly quickly.
God, I hate these things.
And Frenzy, for those of you that aren't familiar with Bloodborne, is a status effect that once the meter maxes out, you take, I think it's 75% of your max HP as damage.
Yeah, you basically are if you've taken any other damage, you die instantly. You die. Basically.
And most things that cause Frenzy do it rather slowly, but Winter Lanterns do it incredibly fast. And they're the absolute fucking worst. And the best counterplay to them isn't to like kill them, like throw a Molotov cocktail at them or shoot them around the corner or fucking backstab them. No, the best counterplay to them is to fucking sprint past them.
Yeah.
Which in a game about killing monsters is bad design.
What's the name of the level that you encounter them in primarily? I super hate that area.
There's two. Both of them are nightmares. There's the one that's the place where you fight. What the hell is his name?
The amygdala, whatever the hell it's called.
That was the other one I was thinking of. That's
amygdala.
Amygdala. That's the nightmare front. That's the nightmare frontier where there's a lot of them. Yeah. But there's more of them in the one that's it's the school, but it's like inside of someone's nightmare.
Yeah, there's a long hallway with like a bunch of shit, and there's one in the middle of it, and that
two in the
area. Yeah, that particular area is just it's like the Metroid room. You mentioned that enemy, and I specifically flashed to that exact hallway in the game,
exactly.
and I was just like,
It's
oh.
any like you can do it in certain ways where it's like the best way to fight this enemy is to run away, but the best way to fight this enemy is to not be near it running away, and also you can't look at it is fucking awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also,
sorry.
One last thing. Also, even if you manage to backstab them, you're still taking frenzy damage while you're killing them, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't, because literally any other damage type, if you're in the middle of a backstab animation in a Souls game, you stop taking damage. You're just immune because video games, not for this.
Huh.
And usually the length of the animation will let the meter fill up entirely, and you just lose a third of your or three-fourths of your life. Which is a night. They suck. They fucking suck.
They're awful.
Oh God.
Like at some point, somebody. Sorry. At some point,
we all just like pause for just long enough to be like, okay, move on.
At some point, I wish that somebody had like looked at Miyazaki and been like, "Hey, listen, buddy, don't do this. Don't put this in the game." And he said no.
All right. So ping-ponging off of an enemy known for his status effect, I am going to choose the king of all status effect monsters. And that is that famous boy from the Final Fantasy series. It's the Marlboro.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw this in Cat.
This is correct.
And fucking Bad Breath, or whatever game equivalent is in the Final Fantasy you are thinking of.
It's Bad Breath.
It's Bad Breath.
Okay, it's that's what it basically is in all of them. So again, the most recent one I've played is 12, but again, these are a Final Fantasy staple, and these giant tentacle head motherfuckers are basically just known for having an attack that can pretty much cause every status ailment in the game, sans a few of the very specific ones.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get hit, you will get blind, poison, paralysis, disease, and like disarmed and immobilized. You can get literally 7 status effects from one attack, and depending on the game, it's incredibly annoying.
I was gonna say, I think in some of the games it dooms you too.
I think it's 12 too. It can do like everything but like petrify, I think.
Yeah,
because that's usually very specific to only like 2 monsters who have petrify.
And petrify, if he just petrified your whole team, you just
right exactly
instantaneously. There's no counterplay to that.
Like, I think in 12 they can do disease, and disease is the freaking worst because disease doesn't like when you take damage, it lowers your max health as you take the damage, and it's one of the hardest ailments to cure.
Yep.
So like you're also like so you're always at max health, but your max health just keeps dropping from disease, and it's so painful. And if you ever run into like a Marlboro boss, it's just like, all right, did I like literally the only way to win is just like give people whatever item nullifies all status effects, because otherwise you're just going to be burning through your entire repertoire, your entire inventory of status ailment cleansers, trying to beat one fucking boss or just one mob of Marlboros.
Freaking yikes.
Staying in the same universe.
Ooh, let's go.
With still more Final Fantasy. This is a very specific enemy that I particularly hated due to a bad experience, but a lot of other enemies do the same thing. Its name is Page 64. It is a page from a book.
Why did it have to be page 64?
That's just what it was. They're all like multiples of 2 or something. But fuck this thing.
Which Final Fantasy is this from?
Specifically Final Fantasy V. Now, this motherfucker has a spell that a bunch of other people have too, but I hate this guy in particular, called Level 5 Death. Instantly kills anyone in your party who is a multiple of level 5. Motherfucker wiped my entire team like twice.
Man, the level them up differently.
The level 5 of the level abilities in Final Fantasy are so interesting because like
They're such bullshit.
right, they're unique, but it's total bullshit because
Yeah.
it's based on your level, and like I can't change that mid-fight usually.
They're unique
Yeah.
because everyone else looked at it and was like, "That's bad design."
This idea sucks.
And Final Fantasy was like, "Let's keep doing that for 20 years."
It's in Final Fantasy 14 kind of.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
They have
Yeah, a
bunch
lot
stuff
of
like that.
bosses have like a lot of bosses in 12 have like level 3 flare and like level 4 doom and shit like that, and one has a
That
level
stuff's
5
You
death.
know what? You want to doom me? You want to like flare me? Also, do is acceptable. Whatever.
Good save on that one.
You want to do me? That's fine. I'm open. I'm single.
Call me.
But if you want to doom me or like cast flare on people based on level, fine. That has counterplay. Death has no counterplay. You just die.
You know what they say in League? Death is the greatest CC.
So yes,
Lord.
specifically for me, page 64, Final Fantasy V. There are plenty other enemies that have the same or similar abilities in Final Fantasy. They're probably ones you all hate too. They're all the same. Fuck them.
Up next, this is another like category of enemy that's been used across a lot of games. I like them in theory, but they always give me extra stress. Enemies that can get back up after quote unquote dying, that fake their own death. Specifically, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is like Resident Evil zombies, where like most of them die and they're dead for good, but you don't know.
Elysium enemies and Hades is a recent one.
Exactly.
Yeah, those Elysium guys are so annoying, having to kill their little spirits so they don't get back up again.
Yeah.
Literally playing Hollow Knight right now. There's a bunch of enemies in I think it's Deep Nest is the region.
Oh,
the just get back up again.
There's a couple spiders in the Deep Nest where you knock them over, and then after a while they get like infested and come back as a slightly different form.
Exactly.
And just swarm you.
People in chat are saying flood. Exactly. Like
that's another good one.
Yeah.
That just annoys the shit out of me because it makes me want to use like an extra bullet just to make sure that they're dead.
I mean,
or
they're accomplishing what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. But I can't stop. Like literally all of Resident Evil 2, I went super slow through that game because after I killed something and it fell down, I would then creep up to it and hold my knife out and go, yeah. And sometimes they would start getting back up again, and I'm like, oh my god! And then I like run back, pull out my gun, and just start shooting. But it
get up, you fuckers! I know
they
you wanna.
succeeded in filling you with anxiety. That is how those games work.
That's Hayo says you got to play fewer horror games. That's probably true.
He's got a point on that one.
Yeah. It's mainly used in horror games, but
someone else in the chat earlier said like the enemies in Amnesia, and like I've played Amnesia. I agree they're annoying, but like they're supposed to cause you anxiety, so it's a horror game.
Yeah. You know what? Just all horror enemies in horror games. I hate them all.
Just horror games in general.
Dogs in horror games, enemies that get back up in horror games. Any horror, ghosts in horror games. Hate ghosts. Don't
Chris,
like them.
are you gonna give us an enemy from a horror game?
No. Well, depends on your definition. Depends on your definition of horror, I suppose. So we didn't specify the kind of enemy it had to be. Other than that, it can't be like a boss, or it can't be like something like that. So hear me out. People with voice chat. That's it. That's the whole thing. Specifically, Call of Duty is what I'm referencing. But
the best part about that is on one of the lists I was reading, it actually just said my teammates from any online game.
That's good. That's good.
Cross-team voice chat is the worst idea ever. It shouldn't. Whoever was like, let's put that into a video game is an idiot. It has never. I refuse to believe a positive thing has ever happened because of cross-team voice chat in a video game. I refuse.
Probably hasn't.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I thought it was funny.
Proximity chat was awesome.
Proximity chat, I do appreciate. It can get very bad as well, but as a concept, it's pretty fun.
I like proximity chat and like battle royales. That shit's funny.
Just as you run, as you're like running up and shooting somebody, just yelling like,
Or
"You
when
son of a
someone
bitch."
doesn't know where you are and you're just like, "Hey, buddy."
Oh, that's very good.
All right, you turn me around on it.
Hearing somebody freak out, fuck, 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 as you're just like a firefight 2 inches from each other.
You're just like, what?
Oh, Pridge, do you have another horror game person too, or is it just that?
Not a horror game, no.
The horror of life.
No, I was gonna do a shout out to the one Elise has mentioned when we've talked about this topic. And these are the Conchu from the Monster Hunter series, most specifically Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So obviously Monster Hunter is a game about hunting big monsters, but there are also some small creatures, and
they're
usually
all fucking annoying.
Usually they're pretty worthless. They really can't do much damage to you after you get like any piece of armor, or they're herbivores who just solely run away from you. But what makes Conchu annoying is they're these little shelled insect things, and regardless of whether you're actively fighting them, if they in any way get aggroed, they will curl into a ball and do a little Sonic the Hedgehog roll at you, which is pretty much always going to stagger you, pretty much no matter what. So the problem is not fighting them, it's that when you're sitting there fighting a giant death dragon, perfectly waiting to counterattack, and this little insect just bumps you over and completely ruins everything you're trying to do. And you're like, I wasn't even trying to kill you. You weren't even on my radar. Why the fuck are you here right now? Please leave. I don't want to deal with you. Hitting your shell dampens my sharpness more than I want it to. You don't drop anything good that I want. You are literally just here to disrupt me. Also, occasionally they will climb on monsters and be little like shield pockets on the thing you're trying to kill with their hard shell.
Okay,
wild.
that's cool.
Yes,
I can see it. I can see it being very annoying too, but that's cool.
Because it's like a natural ecology. The point of like a creature might do this to protect itself and something else, but it's still annoying when you're just like, why are you doing this to me?
I literally
I'm trying
just
to kill it with my dual swords.
I picture you with your hunter like fighting fucking Bahamut, and then just a little beetle like curls up behind you and just is like, boop.
No, that's exactly what it is though. They literally just Sonic the Hedgehog you from across the map and like either like knock you into an attack you're going to die or disrupt the combo you're doing.
David,
it's like one damage to you. It's just the concept that's annoying.
You're gonna say Tonberry?
Well, I thought you were going to say Tonberry earlier, but no, you just gave me an incredible idea. Why doesn't Capcom and Square Enix partner up and make Monster Hunter?
This is a thing.
This is a thing, actually.
To make Monster Hunter what?
Final Fantasy. Okay, well, fuck me. I guess they already did it. So
in Monster Hunter World, Bahamut was a boss.
And then in Final Fantasy 14,
I think Zach's saying like a turn-based
a full game. Oh.
Yeah, I get that.
Not turn-based, but
we'd be like, I get that, but they actually are slightly ahead of you because Bahamut was a cross of a monster in Monster Hunter World.
All right.
Yeah, and then and Final Fantasy 14 got Nerikigante in return.
Gotcha. All right. I was gonna say, like, going hunt a giant Marlboro, get all the status effects, get pissed.
I mean, that's in 7 remake.
Monster Hunter, actually.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right.
Fuck me.
Sorry, Doug.
I've got another niche one that is only going to be me, but I'll describe the mechanic and you will all hate it equally. So, Legend of Legaia. I've talked about this game before. It's a turn-based combat game with like fighting game inputs, whatever.
You're the only one who played it. We know.
That's not the important part. Just imagine it's Final Fantasy for now. There's an enemy in that game. I think it's just called a Phantom. Got a really lame name. But it's basically a spectral warrior that has like a buckler and like a spectral sword grown out of its arm.
Mm-hmm.
It has an ability that basically just pulls up a roulette wheel on the screen. And it spins, and you get a random thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the beginning of the game, when you fight some of these that are like lower level ones, there'll be like one or two really bad things, like an instant kill, and then the other ones are like neutral or even kill the Phantom. At the end of the game, they give up on being fair, and it's all just bad things. There'll be, imagine there's like 8 or 10 slots on the roulette wheel that can happen. 2 of them are instant death. One of them's lose all your mana. One of them's like health minus 1, and it just puts you to like 1 HP. They're
God.
literally like all bad, and then one slot is kills the Phantom. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I think you can all imagine how annoying that mechanic is, and
Yeah,
why it's
rough.
not in other games.
That's pretty rough.
But yes, bad roulette is what I'm gonna call it. Actually, that might be close to what the ability is called. Even localization's pretty great.
Bad roulette. Step right up. It's time for a game of bad roulette.
Oh god. Go ahead, Zach.
I'm gonna get into my specific enemies. Do I either go Dark Souls 1 or XCOM 2?
XCOM 2, I have a feeling I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, it's chrysalids. Everybody's least
Chrysalids.
favorite.
Oh, I haven't
God,
played
fuck
2. What are
off.
those? How do those work?
I think they're in 1 as well. I think.
I still
It's been a
remember.
while
It's
since
been
I
a
played
long
1. They're like purple, kind of spidery with like a chitinous shell. Basically, they can pop up not randomly, but like you can move into an area, not see them, and then like all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of them pop up, and they also they usually come at like a pretty decent difficulty spike in the game, where it's like, oh, these enemies have like 15 health instead of like the 4 that like some of the starting enemies have. They also do insane amounts of damage, usually like half of your character's life if they can hit you. And to add insult to injury, if they kill you, they reanimate your fallen soldier's corpse as like a mindless zombie.
Oh, yeah, I remember those now. Yep.
There is a particular mission they're always annoying, no matter like where you encounter them. But there is a particular mission in, I believe, XCOM 2 that you don't have to get. In fact, in my second playthrough, I did not get this mission at all, but it completely ended my run of my first playthrough of XCOM, where it's like, oh, we have to get to this thing, hit the self-destruct sequence, and then get out. And you're like running through this town. I had so many people, like I think I had like 1 or 2 people get fucked up, and I'm like, fuck, this is not good. And we get to the thing, we hit the button, and it's like, okay, you have 5 turns to get out of the town, which is like you have to use all your movement just to get back to the start anyways. But hey, guess what? Here's a shit ton of chrysalids that just pop up everywhere in between you and the exit now. Good luck getting there in 5 turns. Fighting these enemies, let alone just trying to move all the spaces you need to. It ended my like 15-hour playthrough of the first time through, and I was like, okay, well, guess I'm gonna start a new file. And then I was prepared to have that mission happen again, and I never got it. And I was like, that is the most tilting thing, because that was what ended my run. Like that was what wasted all my time.
And their zombie thing also works on civilians they kill. So if you're ever on a city map, they will just hunt down one-shot civilians and suddenly just double the number of enemies.
Yeah,
and that's
they're pretty brutal. Also, I believe their blood is acid.
Yeah, they spill acid on the ground.
Yep. They're the freaking worst. I hate them so much.
Those sound rough.
They're just a pain in the butt. And their sound is awful too.
Right, Chris.
That's all I got.
I'm actually kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I didn't have that many, so let's talk about the title one on this video. So someone talks about it. Fucking Zubat.
Yep.
Fuck Zubat. Like there's a lot of Pokemon that are annoying. There's a lot of Pokemon that have like annoying specific niche abilities or like niche attacks, shit like that. Zubat isn't that. Zubat is not a good Pokemon. Zubat is not a Pokemon that's gonna like wipe your fucking party or like give you a bunch of problems. Zubat just needs to fuck off because it serves no purpose. It serves as we didn't know what to put in caves, so and caves in general have very low like enemy variance, so it's either like Geodudes or fucking Zubats, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I never want to catch a Zubat because I'm not gonna fucking use it. I don't want to fight a Zubat because they have like they either instantly die or like I don't have a good fucking party to kill them.
Or
So like
they
I'm doing
supersonic you and you're confused and
Yeah.
you hurt
they
yourself.
I was gonna say
Sonic Boom.
they have
Sonic Boom.
they have a couple of abilities which all either can have super they can have Sonic Boom and Confused Ray, double Confused Ray. Leech Life, which doesn't heal anything, but it is annoying that they have a healing ability.
I
And
think they might have Poison Sting too. I could be wrong on that.
They get like
Hey,
toxic
wow.
bite or something. They have poison too. It's available.
basically
to them.
they exist to slow you down in caves, annoy you, and then if you're playing a Nuzlocke, fuck you over because you're gonna get a fucking Zubat.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Like of all the Pokemon in the original, honestly, probably even up to like Johto, or not even what's the one, Hoenn. Like, there's no thing with less interesting design than Zubat. It's just a fucking bat. It's it.
Yeah.
That's
It's
fair.
a pretty
that's very
boring
fair.
bet.
I can't go outside and find a fucking Growlithe, but like I can find a fucking bat somewhere.
And it makes very similar noises, so like it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking bat. I'm surprised
Yeah,
this
they
ability
suck.
isn't shit all over you. Honestly, though, if Zubat had like guano-based attacks, I'd hate it
Oh my
substantially less.
God.
It'd be
Zubat
Not
needed to be a
guano.
Digimon because they don't give a fuck about that.
Digimon's like, I don't know, you
Yeah.
Titties,
Gunmon.
guns, titties. What do you want? Fucking
Digimon's
pretty
like,
bad.
have Sukamon. It's literally a sentient pile of shit.
Oh yeah,
Except yellow.
it's the golden turd emoji.
Yeah. Jeez, Pete.
Pridge, you got another one?
Thank you, Japan.
All right, I actually thought of this one literally just like 10 minutes ago.
Excellent.
Anyone here play Slay the Spire?
Yeah.
No.
All right, there's an enemy you can find on the third, on the Act 3, and they are called Darklings. They come in groups of 3,
Yep.
and they have an ability
yeah.
called Lifelink.
Mhm.
And there are other enemies in other games that do a similar thing, but this is the first one I thought of. And the
Mhm.
gimmick is, when they die, they can revive. So you have after one turn. So you have to kill all 3 within one turn of each
turn.
other, or they will
Yeah.
keep respawning. And there are other enemies with this gimmick. I cannot think of them, but I know there's similar type enemies where you have to kill the entire group, or they'll start respawning.
There are bosses like that in a lot of MMO.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's just like they're not terrible. Like them alone isn't terrible, but that's one of the most frustrating gimmicks is you can't just focus one. That's always my strategy in these
Yep.
games is to focus fire, but you can't focus fire. And if you don't have a deck that's good at AoE, Darklings become hell for you.
I think that concept exists in other games. I can't think of an actual monster example, but I feel like there's one in Chrono Trigger.
There's some in most recent Dragon Quest.
I want to say there's one in Chrono Trigger, and like I was fighting something, and like the bane of your existence is when you like crit against shit like that.
Listen, Dan is mocking us all in the chat. He says Darklings aren't that bad. I have 500 hours in Slay the Spire. I know what I'm talking about. He says Snake Plant is bad. I'm looking up a picture of Snake Plant, and I
Snake
do not
Plant,
remember this thing.
I believe that is the one that has the whenever you hit it, it gains armor thing.
Oh yeah.
If that's what I think that is, because those are fucking awful.
I think that's Writhing.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. You're totally
Yeah, that's
right.
Writhing. I think that's Writhing Mass.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
All right.
Not a huge fan.
Finish off with just me and Zach on our last go. You've got one, Zach.
Yeah, I can talk about one.
So mine is 99% hit chance in Fire Emblem.
and also XCOM.
And
Yeah,
also
oh,
XCOM.
God, XCOM is
Specific,
so
like
brutal.
we can go hit miss chance or whatever. Specifically 99% though.
Ugh. Yeah, missing that just
It can
kills you.
it can be your best friend. It can also be your worst enemy.
For some reason, 99% hit chance has a 85% hit chance. It's weird.
Just how it works.
Can I put the inverse of that is enemy boss with 1% crit chance? Because
Ooh, yeah.
in Path of Radiance when Ike died to a boss who critted him on a 1% crit
Yeah,
chance.
that's happened to me too.
And I will straight up never live that down. Dude's just chilling on a pirate ship. I have this level completely aced. Easy does it. And he 1% crits me. And I wanted to just like throw my GameCube out a window.
That hurts.
Really, they're both the same thing. 1% chance of hitting or missing going
Right.
not your way.
Yeah. Bad RNG.
Bad RNG.
Oracle says auto resolve and Total War has the same energy. Yeah, that
Yeah.
and mount and blades auto resolve. Anything that is like a guaranteed sure thing.
That doesn't become
except the one time you need it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and
exactly.
even auto resolve in the Total War series historically is just like, do you want to lose more people? Auto resolve.
Which is fucking bullshit.
You won't usually lose the fight if you have like an overwhelming % chance, but like you'll lose way more people than you would if you fought it out for an hour.
Yeah, I just don't want to take the time.
Exactly.
Let me play as a tactician, you fucks.
Zach, close this, bring us home. I was trying to.
I have one
use the
more
right
bit.
words.
I gotta go in after that.
Okay, fine. Go, Zach, and then
All right,
Chris.
well,
Will bring us
then,
home.
all right. Quick honorable mention of Bone Wheels from Dark Souls.
Had to be on here.
Yeah, they're absolutely like some of the most tilting things. You literally you fall into a pit with like 30 of them, and if you get hit once, you're infinitely stun locked until you die. RIP. The only way around it is just to walk past them, because if you're in the pit with them, you just die. But I'm gonna trade it up and go to likes from Legend of Zelda.
I thought about those shield-eating bastards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which one are those?
likes they're the like oozy like
They're-
glob things.
They look like round sponge cakes.
Yeah, that's a good way of
Yeah.
looking at it. And if they touch you, they steal one of your items permanently. Well, it depends on the game. Sometimes they steal it permanently. Sometimes they made it easier, so if you kill them, they just drop whatever like item you lost. But you can lose
yeah.
like in Ocarina of Time, you can lose like one of your like colored tunics, which you have to then pay like 300 rupees to buy from a shop again.
Yep.
Which is just like absolutely tilting. Or to lose like one of your shields, and it's like, well, I'm in the middle of a dungeon right now. I'm not about to start using my Kokiri shield in the fucking lava or in the fire temple, because that ain't gonna do me shit. Thanks.
Won't it catch
Like-
fire?
Yeah.
Exactly. They're.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of
things
other
fucking
enemies.
suck. You're right.
I'm trying to think of other enemies that steal your stuff, but like that's the one that comes to mind. I fought them so many times across so many games, and it barely ever happens. But it's probably happened to me like twice.
Yep.
And whenever it does, oh my god, I'm like, no, you didn't touch me. I was swinging the sword. What? And I freak out, and then I lose my shit,
Yeah,
literally and metaphorically.
I couldn't think of a video game enemy that does this, but I know like D&D has level loss or level stealing, which is kind of the same thing, where like you permanently lose levels. And I
Power
could,
I
drain.
believe Bravely Default has that.
ugh.
Oh my god, that's
Like,
Maybe Bravely Second.
Some of the fire.
Yeah, I don't
or
remember
not
it in the
Fire
original
Emblem,
one.
Some of the Final Fantasies have temporary level loss, which is fine. But like D&D has like, oh, you permanently down 2 levels. Like, get fucked.
That's a huge loss, especially in D&D.
Yep. All right, Chris, bring us
Yes.
home.
I'll keep that D&D thing in mind for our D&D.
Oh no!
You
I
do that,
swear to God, if you use that on me, I'm done.
All right. The last thing on my list and the most annoying enemy I could fucking think of is Republicans.
There it is, folks.
And
There
we
it
got
is.
him. Nothing can follow up that one.
I'll be more specific and say the GOP, but yes.
Conservatives.
I mean, listen, I would say Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell,
Mitch
but I'm sure
Mitch
he's
McConnell. That's my favorite Harry
He's the
Potter
boss.
character.
Mitch McGonagall.
McConnell's the boss, though.
Yeah, he is a boss.
Yeah,
That's what I was
yeah.
gonna say.
God.
And not like a good way. Like, he
No,
would be
he's
like,
he's one of those bosses that summons goons, and you have to kill goons to deplete his health
exactly.
bar.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way he would fight himself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Well,
He's got some really powerful self buffs.
that was a great way to
Like-
close that list.
Got you, man.
That was great.
They are the most dangerous enemy.
Anyone have anything to shout out?
I'm working on a video essay. It's gonna take me longer than normal because I want to play more Hollow Knight and Demon Souls, but it'll come out sometime next week. I will finish it before then.
Okay.
But
nice.
but all I know right now is, hey, this drum that's in Woodfall Temple sounds a lot like this drum used in Central America. So that's a cool
Nice.
connection. Well, the temple's based on a lot of Mesoamerican and like Central American cultures. Like the temple itself literally is like a Mayan not a Mayan, not a pyramid.
Ziggurat.
It's a ziggurat. Thank you. Like a Mayan
Love that
ziggurat.
word.
And the boss himself, people say that he's speaking in ancient Mayan. It's debatable. Because they're like, oh, if I used, there's one source that claims to have used an alphabet or a Mayan dictionary to like read out what he was saying. And because this was a voice recording on an N64 game, it's a stretch.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, but like, oh, he's saying "fire on your head" in Mayan, and I'm like, why would he say that though? Is that what he's saying? Really? Really? You think so?
Is he dropping fire on your head when he says that?
They took
No.
the time. They
No,
took
he
the
doesn't
time to
have the
get
ability to
someone
do that.
to speak translated Mayan, but all they was like, say fire on your head. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Anybody else have anything to shout out?
Nope.
Okay. Remarkable Me, community member of Around the Monitor, apparently has a game coming out for VR, Bulk Dominoes VR Kinetic Rush. So that's coming out in 2 weeks-ish. So if you've got VR and you want to check it out, it's apparently free-to-play domino VR game.
Not-
2-ish weeks, not
That's
2 weeks.
that's Domino like the game, not like the pizza.
And also shout out to Dan Sayonara's cat.
He's
Dan
adorable
Sayonara
and
cat.
wonderful.
Oh, that's so
very
good.
Like the
Remarkable Me
game,
says like
not
the
the
game, not the
pizza.
pizza. Yes.
It's Pizza Delivery Simulator VR.
Annoy the Noid 2.
Oh my
Okay.
fucking god.
All right. The only thing I want to shout out is again say thank you to everyone for tuning in to Extra Life last week. We raised $1,550 for Extra Life, which is fantastic, crushing previous records. It was
Helping
fun.
big beautiful kids.
Helping big beautiful giant children. It was a lot of
Only
fun.
the biggest.
For those big dollars.
It was a lot of fun, but the charity is still up, so if anyone wants to donate before the end of the year, extra-life.org/participant/ATM. Check it out. Donate if you can. With that, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, drop us a comment. Let us know if we missed any really annoying enemies that you think should not exist in this green, like, giant blue earth. Just delete them from the face of the planet.
Jin Shao. Got him.
With that, though, I think that's going to do it. This has been Around the Controller, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.